monitors. So far, we're still collecting more information.
Ano po ba ito? Underwater?
Yes po, yes po, yes po. Philippine Trench.
Meanwhile, government is now assessing the situation on the ground. President Marcos says search, rescue, and relief operations are already.
Image of Harrison Ford was out there that you're grumpy. That's what. And music follows me everywhere.
Nobody in Hollywood is more savage and secretly funny than the legend behind Indiana Jones and Han Solo, Harrison Ford.
The ghost is back.
Oh, thank God.
There he is.
Harrison Ford is known for being honest and straight to the point in interviews, but somehow people still act surprised every time he says exactly what he thinks.
Is your life goal to reboot every major franchise you helped to create? Like Blade Runner.
You bet your ass in it. Oh, good, he's taking a drink of water. I'm going to get a question in. My God, what's wrong with you? Harrison. What can you say on a podcast? You can say anything you want, anything you like. Gotcha.
But nothing beats the time Harrison's co-star, Mark Hamill, did the most perfect impression of him.
What was it like working with young Harrison Ford?
Oh my gosh. Well, for instance, we were doing the scene where it was right after we got out of the trash compactor. Shouldn't my hair be all wet and matted with schmutz all through it? And he turns to me and says, "It ain't that kind of movie." If people are looking at your hair, we're all in big trouble.
That wasn't bad.
He can have the job. I always call him stealing snacks. You know, like these snack snacks. And I saw him once. He looks at me.
Without saying a single word, Harrison managed to interrupt his co-star Jessica Williams and make her start laughing.
From my dream of preparing. I told him to turn away. Don't laugh. I am Jessica Williams. I'm LA born and bred, and I am an actress.
You guys have become fast friends when you're on an indie adventure together, right? So you're parachuting together, you're sliding down a water slide. Was there a chemistry test? How did you get to know each other?
Oh, I think I met her in the street. She was mine for the price of a drink.
Wow.
Harrison has never been shy about admitting he took certain roles for the money, but the way he says it makes it impossible not to laugh.
Harrison, when you got that call to say, we're making another Blade Runner and we want you to be in it, what was your reaction?
So what? Would you be interested? I said,
How much?
Show me the money.
help yourself. I notice there's nothing left for me.
How easily can you silence the part of your brain that says, I look like an idiot when I'm playing a Red Hulk? You know, the behind the scenes footage of this, you probably look like an insane human being.
I don't want to.
Great, your bubble. Cats in their bodies. To silence that part of your brain.
He is easily one of the best actors of all time at answering questions with a straight face while somehow making everyone else laugh.
Everyone seems to be wondering why Luke Skywalker isn't on the poster. Do you have any knowledge of why that is? He's not.
There wasn't room.
No.
He's a very good reason.
What is the reason?
I can't tell you.
Oh.
Jordan has a question. He's going to try and stump you. Jordan, why don't you let her rip?
Well, the bullet in the original film belongs to the stunt coordinator. It was made by David Morgan in Washington State. It was 8 feet in length and was made of casting with a 12-plate overlay. Subsequently, kangaroo-hide versions were used in the following two sequels. What was the color of the original whipped ball?
Harrison is tired of hearing his movie tracks over and over again.
And music follows me everywhere. Play it every time I walk on the stage, every time I walk off the stage. I was playing in the operating room when I went in for my colonoscopy.
So when Jimmy Kimmel said this during an interview, even Harrison Ford looked genuinely shocked.
Have you ever made love to the soundtrack of one of your films? Maybe Witness? Oh.
Of course.
Harrison Ford has mastered the art of deadpan comedy, which makes it almost impossible for anyone around him to keep a straight face.
Are you Canadian?
No,
I'm just asking because there's so many Canadian humorists. Yeah, Canadians.
I know a lot of people think I'm Canadian, but I'm not.
No. A lot of people think you're a humorist.
Did you watch the Oscars last night?
Here last night?
Oh, man, you missed it again. You didn't even go into your nominated for Best Actor, right?
What?
Yeah. You were nominated for Witness, movie Witness. You were nominated in 1986. You did not attend the Oscars.
Well, I had a lot of homework.
Most celebrities soften with age, but Harrison Ford somehow does the opposite. He's sharper and funnier than ever.
People sound a little bit because they've got microphones that are terrible. You have not said one fucking word.
A few moments later.
You finally got the mic. You're the biggest. Shut up. I'm sorry, Harrison. I'm sorry. You missed your one bullet on that? You missed your gas guy. Exactly. That's why I don't let him have the microphone.
Hollywood fight scenes are heavily choreographed to make sure no one gets hurt. But apparently, Harrison Ford missed that memo during a Blade Runner scene.
Feels Ryan, you were on the Harrison.
What? No. I know you're.
Yes.
Just say it.
Just say it. Well, he punched you.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he punched you. But you weren't meant to punch him.
Right? Oh, I misread the script. I did my foot for Christ's sake.
This next clip might be the most villainous thing Harrison Ford has ever done.
It's important to you? Yeah. One of the pieces of memorabilia in my collection, in fact, the flagship piece, is a Lego Millennium Falcon that I put together in 2010. They're selling for about $5,000 now, and it took about 60 man-hours to create. And I display with pride that it would really mean the world to me if Harrison could sign it. That's a very delicate, long time. Yeah. So.
So what we didn't know is that Conan had set the whole thing up, and everyone thought Harrison was the villain.
Those of you at home who don't know how these things work, he didn't build the damn thing. Somebody else, okay, in the prop department. This is why built the damn thing over, probably took him 3 weeks. He had to take it home and ask his kid to help him put it together.
Yeah. This is exactly how Harrison Ford would react if you pulled off a magic trick in his own house.
Think of any card in the deck. Great. Hold the deck. You're thinking of a card. Do I know what card you're thinking of? Look through the deck. Your card isn't there. Good. Look. You won't see it there. No. It's nowhere. Here's what we'll do. So do me a favor. Grab a piece of fruit for me, like one that we can open up. Yeah. Grab a piece of fruit. Good. Whatever. And can we cut this? Can we take a knife and put it right there? Yeah. Good. Can we put it right here? Say your card out loud. 9 of hearts. 9 of hearts. Can you turn this sideways? Yeah, I can cut right through it. I mean, not hit your hand. Let's do. See inside. See
flirting with Harrison Ford in front of everyone, but his nonchalant reaction made it even funnier.
I think you're still very hot. We were stunned to see you take your shirt off in the second scene. I mean, it's just, and you've still got it. I mean, how do you keep fit?
I've been blessed with this body. Thanks for noticing.
When a reporter asked Harrison Ford if it was hard doing all those stunts, Harrison had to give him a quick reality check.
No, because they're done by stuntmen and stunt women. I do physical acting. I limit myself to those things that are not going to disadvantage the progress of the film if I happen to get hurt.
And this next joke almost followed Harrison Ford all the way home.
My wife is going to be so mad at me. I think it's worth it. So this guy's working in the produce department at the grocery store, and a lady walked up to me. She said, "Where's the broccoli? I can't find the broccoli." He said, "Oh, I'm really sorry." He says, "We ran out of broccoli. We'll have some tomorrow morning." And he goes back to his work, and he's stacking the oranges, and he hears behind him, Mister. He turns around, and it's the same lady, and she says, "Where's the broccoli? You got any broccoli?" He says, "No, ma'am. We're fresh out of broccoli. I have some tomorrow morning." Goes back to work. A couple of minutes later, this woman walks up right up in his face, and she says, "How come I can't find any broccoli?" He says, "Lady, he says, do me a favor, lady." She says, "No." He says, how do you spell cat?" He says, "Like in catastrophic." She says, C-A-T. He says, "How do you spell dog?" Like in dogmatic, D-O-G. He says, "How do you spell like in broccoli?" She says, "There is no broccoli." So that's what I'm trying to tell you, lady.
But here's a little bonus clip that feels extra special if you're an Indiana Jones fan.
Can I just say, all fans, thank you. It's been such an adventure. We love you so much. Only.
This year is Southeast Asia, home to 11 countries, including Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, the Philippines, Indonesia, and way down here, Timor-Leste.
For 42 years, drummers have argued about this drum intro.
If you're a drummer and you're listening, your mind is blown.
How the heck do you play that?
To this day, I still can't figure out the top of it.
Everybody's still trying to figure out how to play that.
I'm just listening to it 5 times. Jumped out all in 4/4. He's overdubbing. Sounds like a car that's backfiring engine or something.
Like it's just unreal how perfect it is. It was on the radio, this giant drum solo, and everyone loved it. I've tried to play them and I can't. Years. Everyone trying to Yeah, as far as drum intros go, that's the holy grail.
You probably heard it's a Lamborghini engine, a hot rod, car backfiring, 4 bass drums, electronic drums, or layered drum parts. But all of these stories assume that Alex Van Halen didn't actually play this part. But what if he did? In this video, we're going to uncover how Alex created one of the most confusing and iconic drum parts ever recorded, why it sounds machine-like and impossible to play, and we're going to show you how to actually play it on the kit.
He was a genius because he played it at like 6,000 billion BPM as well, which what? Why are you doing that? And why are you doing it so long ago? How is it that good? You got to aim high. We all built on the shoulders of giants.
We've also
the last few years interviewing drummers in the Van Halen circle to help tell this story. Let's dive in. Van Halen is one of the biggest bands in the world in the early 80s. They have MTV hits, platinum records, and they're headlining arenas as one of the most successful rock bands in the era. And now it was time to head back into the studio to record their biggest record of their career. But behind the scenes, things are starting to crack. Creative fights between the Van Halen brothers, David Lee Roth, and producer Ted Templeman are starting to happen. And in fact, the original title of the record was Animal Farm, referencing George Orwell and how much fighting was happening during the production of the record. Instead of going into a big studio like before, Eddie builds his own and calls it 5150.
1983, we were recording Dagger Down, and half that record was cover tunes. And
there's a lot of criticism about that. Why weren't you guys writing more music? Why aren't you being more creative?
That's why I built the studio, because I would rather bomb with my own music and be the world's biggest cover band, so to speak.
The studio is small and definitely not built for a full rock band like Van Halen. It was actually a racquetball court at first with only one room. So how do you record loud drums in a space like that?
That's when the Simmons came in on 1984, because 5150 was just the control room and then one tiny room. So it was like everything would bleed over into everything else. Like they used the Simmons as like it wasn't really a creative. It was just like, we need to do this because it's too loud.
Alex ditches most of his acoustic drum kit other than the snare and the cymbals, and he switches to using a Simmons electronic drum kit running straight into the console. These were really popular in the 80s and used by drummers like Bill Bruford, Phil Collins, Neil Peart, and tons of other drummers. This meant less mic bleed, room noise, and space issues.
This drum up here sounds like this on program 1. Then, of course, it might sound if we take 14, which is more or less at random.
Completely different.
Indeed, and anything in between.
Alex defends the choice, saying listeners are already hearing acoustic drums through microphones live and on the record, so everything is already electronic in some way. But this is exactly where the debate around Hot for Teacher begins. I remember reading Ted Templeman's book, and he explained how the first few bars of the intro are actually the sound of a Lamborghini. Eddie Van Halen confirmed the intro sounds like a hot rod or a dragster, but said you can only pull that off with Simmons drums. Some will side with Templeman, but given the creative context at this point, we're leaning toward Alex and Eddie's version that these were Simmons electronic drums. That sound from the Simmons kit would become the found.
Was amazing. It was perfect for this.
No. Hot for Teacher's like, wow, double bass lick is just sick, man.
I think the first time I heard Hot for Teacher, I didn't even know double bass was a thing. And I was like, how the heck do you play that? Like the first time I heard it on the radio, other people were like, dude, you gotta check out this song. I'm like, how do you play that? And yeah, it sounded like there was like a million drums coming in at once.
Well, that album.
Nami, patingin. Nami, baba ka mga.
Before I got the gig with David,
baba ka mga. Speaking of
Hot Teacher every night.
Halika dito. Tawag ka ba? Pakita ka kay mama. Tawag ka! Pasok ka, pasok.
Great with David Lee Roth right out of Van Halen. So I
can't imagine.
China.
Wow,
Hot for Teacher. Come on, when you hear that on the radio, it's so iconic. And I was talking to different drummers. But one thing's for sure, when that double bass shuffle kicks in,
Malamig.
The two worlds almost never meet.
Di kami ha, bebe.
Once a week, at least, tells me to try to learn.
Parehas lang naman eh. Kanina yan.
Mamaya na. Wala kang 17? Hello, Sir DJ. Sino? 4. Ano ako? 4. Gawin naman. Pero kailangan ligo ka. Quarter to 5, pwede na.
Learning the drums, I was like, what is
Nakita mo nalalakad ko.
Alex, I bet.
Dapat gano'ng oras mo. Gano'ng oras sinis mo yun? Hindi pumasok?
So I think we did a 3 months.
Oo, patagal mo kay Papa yun. Ganda mo.
But when I heard Hudson Keith, I knew
Ano sinayaw niyo?
Quadrant 4. 1984 record
itself is probably the reason that race these genres are so specific drum sounds that you just got. I've heard various rumors and I've heard from really reliable sources. Those rumors are not actually.
Opera teacher is the very first thing I wanted to play once I got double bass drum. So I'm still struggling with that. One day maybe I'll get it. Got that very shaky sound. Style. I think to me,
Ano, bukas papasok ka. Ayoko na pumasok. Sabi niya kagabi.
Again, it's all about sound, style. That's so hard to do.
Ay! Polong! Bigay mo yan. Ito yung sa'yo. Puro kayo, kumain muna. Mamaya na yan. Kumain muna yan.
I was like,
That's exactly. It's an overdubs.
Also, I was keeping up with Josh Breeze on this before we did it.
Boy, nag-champion si Iyala sa Birmingham Pero ano lang, minor league kami mga yun. Pero kahit saan, dami pa rin kailangan.
She won. Alex Ela is the Birmingham Open champion. Down a set, fighting through a chest hurt that had haunted her for 6 years on grass in England. And she did it anyway. 5-7, 6-3, 7-5. Trophy in hand. Name engraved alongside Billie Jean King, Maria Sharapova, and Ash Barty. The Philippines has a grass court champion, and she is 21 years old. Drop a trophy and Philippine flag in the comments if you watch this live, because you just witnessed one of the best moments in Filipino tennis history. And if you missed it, you are about to understand exactly why this is such a big deal. Okay, let me take you through this entire week, because the Birmingham title didn't just happen today. It was built point by point, match by match, over 9 days of some of the best grass court tennis any Filipino player has ever played. Here's the full picture. 5 matches, 0 losses, and the scoreline reads like a horror movie for her opponents. 6-0, 6-2. Then 6-2, 7-5, then 6-3, 6-2. Then a brutal 3-set semifinal that went 6-2, 4-6, 6-3 through 2 rain delays. And now a 3-set final, 5-7, 6-3, 7-5, where she went down a set to the check and still found a way to close it out. That's the week, that's the champion. So let's start with the final, because it was not easy. Not at all. Nikola Bartikova is 20 years old. Czech Republic, ranked 126th in the world. and she's been a thorn in the side of higher-ranked players all year. And here's the details that add a whole other layer to the story. Alex Ila has never beaten a Czech player in her entire WTA career. Never. 0 wins in 13 tries against Czech opponents since turning professional in 2020. 13 matches, 13 losses. That's not a slump. That's a curse. Kvitova beat her. Vondrousova beat her. Multiple Czech players over multiple years on multiple surfaces. You could not manufacture a better villain for Alex's Birmingham finals than a Czech opponent. First set, the curse looks alive. Martinkova is serving huge, playing freely, taking the first set 7-5. Alex loses a set for the first time all week. The crowd is buzzing, and for about 10 minutes, you could feel the momentum shifting. Is this a match where the Czech curse strikes again? No. Alex comes out in the second set and just completely reinvents herself. Wins it 6-3. Ruthless. Clinical. She doesn't panic. She doesn't overthink. She plays her game. And when she plays her game on this surface, left-handed serve, early ball striking, the slice backhand keeping everything low, she is just a different caliber of player from almost anyone in this draw. Third set, this is where it gets properly dramatic. Martinkova breaks early and leads 2-1. You've seen this pattern before. The opponent gets a foothold in the third, starts believing, the crowd gets loud, and the Czech is not going quietly. She fights back every single time Alex threatens to pull away.
Sanji! Sanji!
Ako naginis na.
Sanji!
Wala bumaba yun.
Oo, mautuloy pa ka.
Doon sa ano?
Sa ulo nga, kita yung may pasok na pala si Mara.
Me. Kamawal ko, bulusan ko yan.
Okay na yun po. Si Mami, hindi kumain? Bakit?
Ilan kayo sumayaw at kayo girl? Sayaw, wow. Konting boy. Basta bukas para pagkabaho ko, ha? Konti lang mga boy. Sabi mo, may teacher, maliit ako, teacher, di ko makita ikaw. Sabihin mo, ha? Dito ako sa harapan. Hindi. Basta sabihin mo. Wala ka siya na sa ano.
Excuse me. Perla? Yeah. How can I help you?
Hi.
Okay.
Looks like Morn just